questions primarily. So the first one is, I'm going to jump right into it. You know, when you're in this age, when you're in college, when you're just out of school, you're in college, you're under 25, every little thing that goes wrong in life feels like the end of the world. For example, a heartbreak. Breakups are bad, right guys? Breakups are tough. Failing in exams, fighting with your... Why is that funny? It's bad. Fighting with your family, getting in a fight with your teachers, friends, and at that moment in time, it just feels like the worst thing to happen to us. And then eventually, in a few years, you get to a place where you look back and you're like, yaar, pata nahi why I was stressing over this so much. But in the time that you spent stressing over these things that went bad, you end up sort of like doing more damage. Do you get me? Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So what is your advice to all of us young people about this? You know, when every little thing that goes wrong in life at this age feels like the worst thing to happen to us.
Namaskaram and good afternoon to all of you. Well, it's not just under 25 people doing this nonsense. Even the 60-year-olds are still doing the same nonsense. So, he was just asking me, Nikunj was asking me, or somebody else was asking me just now, why I decided to do this youth and truth and under 25, all this. Well, it's a constant thing for me wherever I go in the world. 50, 60-year-olds come up to me and say, after going through something with me, they say, Sadhguru, where were you when I was 20, 25? You came when I'm 60, what is the use now? So I heard this for a long time. Then I decided, okay, let me step out and meet all those people who are below 25 years of age, because youth is a certain level of energy. But the problem with youth is, by the time they figure out, by the time they bring some clarity to themselves, this energy is not a permanent thing. It will go down slowly. Well, I'm an exception. But you will see most people slowly sink. But before the energies go down, if you had clarity, this would fire you in the right way. So it's like you're in a room, you can't figure out which is the door. If you had a lot of energy, you would break your head. So I thought this should happen to people as early as possible, so that's why.
But what advice would you give them? What should be the thought, what can be the first thought when we feel like everything's going wrong?
Well, we need to understand this. We are born here with nothing and we'll die with nothing. In between, whatever the hell is happening, you're on the profit side. No matter what is happening, you're still gaining, you can't lose. And anyway, life is not like your school or college. No matter which way you live, everybody shall pass, so what's the problem? You didn't get it?
What? Sorry, I missed that.
I missed that.
Yeah, I was like, what?
I said, everybody shall pass, they didn't get it, I said.
Sir, ऊपर जाएंगे.
Nobody is detained, I'm saying, because you lived not the right way, somebody gets detained, no such thing, everybody shall pass, so just the most important thing is you live, and to live totally. Living totally does not mean party 7 days of the week. Living totally means every dimension that is there for a human being to explore must happen. It's very important.
I have a question for you. Does one get less creative as they age? And if yes, why?
Not me.
Most of the people.
So I
Most
think
of the people.
being creative versus getting experience, that's what I feel.
As they age, the family, children, problems, solution, office, money.
If there are problems, you could drop them, but can you live without them?
Of course not, but
So-
creativity.
So the thing is, see people, one fundamental problem is we have created an education system where you're misunderstanding memory and information as intelligence. This is the biggest mistake we've made. This is the reason why someone who is growing up in a city looks smarter than somebody who's in the village, simply because of information. Information is not intelligence. Anyway, all these people who have some information in their head and they think they're very intelligent are going to be seriously disappointed because machine learning is coming. There will be If you are… if you are a PhD in something, your phone will know more than the PhD. So, this pretense of having memory, pretending that memory is intelligence, has to go. Now, young and old is just a question of the burden of memory that you carry. You don't know how to carry your memory. See, we must understand this. People are not suffering their life. They are suffering two most fantastic faculties that we have, that only we have, no other creature on this planet has. One is a vivid sense of memory and a fantastic sense of imagination. So, this is all people are suffering. What happened 10 days ago, you're suffering. What may happen day after tomorrow, you already suffer. You are not suffering life, you are suffering your memory and your intelligence. When are you going to learn to handle this? Is 25 too early, you think? No. You must figure it out as quickly as possible, how to handle my memory and my imagination to my benefit. If you don't know this, 25 or 55 or 65, you'll be still the same. Because 60-year-old people think they have a right to worry themselves to death. You don't have to worry yourself to death, death will anyway come. I'm saying there's no need to work for it.
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna budge in here. You've said that, death is gonna come.
No, I didn't say that, it comes anyway.
It comes anyway. That's like that.
It's just
It's gonna
that.
come I'm not saying you said so it's coming, but it's gonna come anyway.
Just that most people think other people die. No, you and me will die.
But then, is that the thought you have when you are speeding in a car at Siachen? Or
On a bike, actually.
On a bike, sorry,
On a
not in a
bike.
car. When you are being the rider that you are, standing on your bike and you are going through like snow-clad, hilly, dangerous regions. What is the thought in your mind? I want to know that.
Oh, generally I have no thought in my mind. This is a very important thing, that people think thought is a big thing. Thought is not the biggest thing in your life. Thought is just recycling of the data that you already have, nothing new happens in it. So if you want to recycle your trash can, you can go on doing it, but the important thing about life is you have enhanced your sense of perception, that constantly you're drinking more life. No, I mean not the other things, okay? I mean life. You're drinking in more life all the time, so where is the room for thought? So about speed, speed is not for me, people think, is it your adrenaline? I have no adrenaline. Actually, as I get faster and faster, I become absolutely cool. And my right leg is always heavy when I sit in a car, so…
Oh my God.
The speed is not about adrenaline, speed is about competence. If there is no competence, it's just adrenaline, you may kill yourself or somebody else. It's very important, it is a question of competence. So, is death on your mind? This is one thing I have done to myself, not for a moment I ever forget that I am mortal. I always know I could fall dead right now. Because of this, if you know that it's a brief amount of time that you have in this world, you would live totally, isn't it? A whole lot of people think they're immortal, that's their only problem. That's why they're postponing their joy and their wonderful nature to tomorrow. They think they can do it tomorrow.
So if there's no adrenaline when you're driving fast or riding fast, what is the main purpose of going fast? As a human being, we do things like swimming, jumping, climbing, because we love the drug which is being produced inside our head, right?
No.
So what is the whole purpose of going fast?
The whole purpose of going fast is just this. There is something in a human being, ultimately in this world, in human society, among the monkeys, among the lizards, among everybody, ultimately the only thing that is valued is competence in their world, wherever they are. So, like driving at a certain speed through difficult terrain is more a test of yourself. Whether you can do it or not is the question. And just to get to that edge all the time, if you get adrenaline, you will not go very far because your competence will go away.
What do you enjoy when you drive fast?
I don't enjoy anything in particular, I just made sure all the time I'm joyful, I do whatever the hell I can.
Do you see what I meant by, he's so chill in life,
I thought I'm hot.
You're hot, pretty much. Listen, I'll give him that in that outfit, I'm gonna give him that. But in life, I feel like being hot-headed it's not something you are. You're more chill. You're
This is
more
my getting
relaxed.
old goals.
Huh?
This is my getting old goals.
Getting old
as chill-
goals.
and as hot.
And as chill as possible.
Everyone has a different adrenaline, that's what I'm saying. The reason
No,
that I
no,
drive past…
this is a very generational thing. When we were growing up, if we saw something really nice, we saw, oh man, it's hot. Now you're saying it's cool. I think it's because of global warming maybe. Everything else is hot.
I was saying like the reason I drive fast and is not to get adrenaline rush, is so that I can get on time and get the Dombivli local, bro. So everyone has a different reason of getting…
City boy,
Sadhguru, my second question for you would be, on a more funner side, since we're taking it up our stride. We know that when you were a child, you were a very quiet child. You didn't speak much, but your teachers say that they looked at you and they knew you were always up to some mischief. Also, there's a lot of very…
Most of the time they didn't see me because I was not in the class.
Whenever they did. Whenever they did.
Probably in the canteen, like.
In the canteen or wherever it was. So
Oh,
how were you
I went much further.
Yes, we would like to know about how further that was.
Oh.
We want to hear a story from then. We would love to know that.
Just yesterday, two of my teachers who were in high school, in the demonstration school in Mysore, you know, the regional school of education, they came to visit our yoga center. So now they were all overwhelmed seeing the center and the work that's happening. So they were asking me, you know, the one teacher did not remember my face or anything about me. I said, that's because ma'am, you were teaching algebra and I never was there. So it's not your fault that you don't remember me. So how further… should I expose myself like this in front of…
We would love to
I
know.
would love to know.
We want to know.
See, for me, I found everything… Fortunately, the school was located in a place where there was a whole lot of nature, there was a lake close by and forest and everything. So for me, I got so engaged with those things. If you want to know my first venture, they put me to school at the age of 3.5. I was 3.5 years old and they put me to school because I was kind of spilling out of the house a bit. So this maid holds me by the hand and takes me and leaves me in the school. I kind of, after a few days, I resisted that she can't hold my hand and take me to the class. So I made a deal with her, you have to leave me near the gate. So she left me at the gate and of course, I did not go into the school. I found the Grand Canyon, really. And I explored life and it was so fantastic. Over 3 months passed like this and somehow they discovered I have not been going to school for 3.5 months. But the worst thing they did was, when I came home, they were all accusing me, you have been playing in the gutter. They reduced a Grand Canyon into a gutter. So in my experience, it was like a Grand Canyon. I collected a whole lot of species. Maybe, I don't know, I was working for a biology PhD or something, but they made all that into trash and said you are playing in the gutter.
I thought I was the youngest guy to bunk, like I bunked school in 6th standard, but then no comparison. 3.5 years old, no one can beat that.
Also, speaking of schooling and parents and careers, you know, right now, we're in an age where there's so many different offbeat careers coming up. As YouTubers, we get this question all the time, you know, how did you talk to your parents about it? How do we convince our parents about this really new career that we have? I want to ask you, you know, if you had to convince your parents and tell them that this is what you… how did that discussion go? Did that happen where you had to sit them down and tell them that this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life?
I want to do YouTube now, like did that happen with you too? He's doing YouTube right now, like he's into YouTube, that's why.
Well, not everybody can be convinced about everything, okay? Some things are just done. So, just to give you an example, when I passed my 12th standard, at that time it was called PUC. After that, I decided I will educate myself. I don't want to go to college. This is a family where everybody is educated. Not going to college is like sacrilege. At least today there is a little more flexibility. Those days, it's like if you don't go to college, you're finished. Because now probably if you don't go to college, you may lose your lifestyle, but you won't lose your life. That was a generation, if you don't go to college, you lost your life, you're on the street, that's about it. So they were terrified of this. My father being a physician, he was just freaked about it. He is a very studious man, all his life, first, second, third in everything that he has done. So he couldn't believe this, that I want to educate myself. So I did one thing, and because of this, suddenly everybody thought I'm become some kind of an enemy, and they were not even talking to me properly. I did one thing. I was just to tell you, I was such a big eater. I would eat 10 times, more, at least 10 times of what I eat today. But I never was putting on weight or anything because my level of physical activity was such. I could just run up a coconut tree, I was made like that. So I was every day cycling about 50, 60 kilometers, swimming in the Kaveri and going back like this, so eating this. I decided to go to the Mysore University library. Every day when they open at 9, I went, 8 in the evening they close. That entire time I sat there, read all kinds of stuff. From Homer to popular mechanics, to National Geographic, to literature, to geography, this, that, whatever. Whatever came my way, every day for 1 year I read like this, just all kinds of things. But the most important thing for me was, though I was such a huge eater at that time, this 1 year I went without a meal. Morning I ate as much as I could, breakfast at home, and I went there and sat there the entire day without a meal, which was a huge achievement for me, because without food I could stay. This kind of expanded my way of looking at life, but family drama started, my mother started crying when the next academic year comes, go to college, go to college, go to college. Then I said, if I must go to college, I'll go for literature. My father said, what will you do reading poetry? You must become a doctor. He has seat ready for me in the medical college, everything. I said, no. Then they said, okay, at least do engineering. Then I said, see,
Please do engineering.
if I say I don't want to be a doctor, if you told me become a veterinary doctor, Ayurvedic doctor, at least a witch doctor, I would look at it. If I say no doctor, you say engineer, I'm not going to listen to this. Your problem is society, your problem is not me. So I just went for literature, and these 3 years, I went there in the beginning and they all had ready-made notes, the teachers, they would read. And everybody writing down. Those days fountain pens, kara 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 kara, it makes noise, it just irritated me. I said, I don't want to listen to this kara kara noise. I gave them a suggestion, if you give that notes wherever you got it, we will photocopy it and give it back to you. We don't have to come, you don't have to come. Then if I'm there, I'll ask 100 questions. So they didn't like it, then I made a deal with all the teachers that they'll give me attendance. That was my only concern. So once a month I went to college just to check if they're keeping their part of the deal.
My life is so similar, yeah.
So I explored the geography of Mysore district in such a way, every village track, every hill that is there, every little bird nest, whatever is there, everything I paid attention, just wandering aimlessly. But today, like when I went for the Rally for Rivers board where all the top experts are there, some questions came up when I just telling them casually, they said, Sadhguru, how do you know all this? I said, what was aimless wandering? Where I paid absolute attention to everything, from a worm to an insect to anything and everything I paid attention. Now it's become formidable knowledge. I never intended to learn anything, I just paid attention because it was life. And this is all it takes. We have come here to live. There is no other damn purpose. Those of them who want to go to heaven can go today. Why are they postponing? If it's such a great place, I don't see why you should postpone it, isn't it so? This is very important for the youth. If anybody says there is a better place than this earth, it is a crime. It's because of that we have destroyed so many things here.